Dragon Masters. Search for the Lightning Dragon. By Tracy West. 1. The search begins. Do you see anything? Drake asked the tall wizard next to him. The wizard, Griffith, was staring into a gazing ball. 5 Dragon Masters Drake, Petra, Rory, Bo, and Anna were watching the ball, too. No. The lightning dragon is flying quickly from place to place, Griffith replied. He is hard to track down. Poor baby, said Anna. He was just born yesterday. The day before, the Dragon Masters had found a crackling dragon egg in the land of pyramids. The baby lightning dragon had hatched in front of Drake's eyes. Then the dragon had flown away. Now the Dragon Masters were back in the kingdom of Bracken. They had gathered in Griffith's workshop to search for the dragon. That dragon is no poor baby, said Rory. He can shoot powerful lightning bolts. I think he was just scared, said Bo. He must be scared, Petra agreed. He has no mom or dad dragon to take care of him. Drake looked at Griffith. What if we can't find him? Griffith looked up from his gazing ball. Wizards all over the world are looking for this dragon in their gazing balls, he said. One of us will find him soon. Can't we fly out on our dragons and look for him? Rory asked. Griffith shook his head. The baby dragon could be anywhere. It is faster to use magic. Anna looked thoughtful. What happens when we find the lightning dragon? She asked. How will we communicate with him? He needs a dragon master, doesn't he? Yes, Griffith replied. But the dragon stone has not chosen one yet. The dragon stone was a huge, magic stone that let dragons and their masters communicate with one another. Griffith had a large piece of the dragon stone in his workshop. Each of the dragon masters wore a small piece on a chain. Puffle, a cloud of smoke appeared next to Griffith. When the smoke cleared, a small, round wizard stood there. Diego! Do you have news? Griffith asked. I do, Diego said. The lightning dragon has been spotted. 2. Catch that dragon. Griffith waved his hand over his gazing ball. I see him. He's in the land of Saxon. A scene appeared inside the ball. The baby dragon was flying over a village. Lightning crackled on the dragon's wings. Sparks flew from his body. The sparks hit a tree. The leaves burst into flame. Oh no, cried Bo, people are in danger. The dragon looks scared, added Anna. I don't think he wants to hurt anybody. But they might not know that, Petra pointed out. Most people have never even seen a dragon before. Saxon is not far, Rory said. We should go there right away. Worm could take us there, Drake said. Worm, his earth dragon, could do amazing things with the power of his mind. Griffith turned to Diego. You are a baby dragon expert. What do you think we should do? Worm could take us to Saxon, Diego agreed. But honestly, I am not sure what to do when we find this dragon. I know a lot about baby dragons, but I don't know much about lightning dragons or how to catch them. Could we use a magic bubble? Griffith asked. We could try, Diego replied. But it might not be strong enough to hold him. Griffith stroked his beard. Didn't one of your past students work with a lightning dragon? Diego asked him. Drake was surprised. You had other students before us? I did, Griffith replied. I trained the very first dragon masters years ago. But Diego is mistaken. None of them ever worked with a lightning dragon. Where are those dragon masters now? Petra asked. Griffith's face clouded over. That is not important. Why didn't Griffith answer the question? Drake wondered. Come. What is important is that we go to Saxon and find this dragon, said Diego. Yes, Griffith said, clapping his hands. Let's head to the dragon caves to make a plan. But just as they were about to leave, a bright green glow filled the workshop. Everyone stopped. Griffith's dragon stone had come to life. Green light shot out of it. 3. The new dragon mastery. What is happening? Petra asked, as everyone rushed back to the glowing dragon stone. The stone has chosen a new dragon master, Griffith replied. Watch. Pictures appeared inside the beam of light from the stone. The pictures are moving, Drake cried. A boy and a white-haired woman were walking along a rocky shore. Ocean waves splashed behind them. Drake noticed that the boy had a white streak in his black hair. Anna's dark eyes were wide. We can hear them. It's like they're in the room with us. The boy stopped and bent down. He pulled a net out of the ocean. Did we catch any fish, Carlos? The woman asked. Just one, Abuela, the boy replied. And it is very small. Abuela? Bo repeated the name Carlos had called the woman. That is the word for grandmother where I come from, Diego said. And I know that rocky coast. They live in my kingdom, the land of Aragon. Excellent, said Griffith. Then our new dragon master will not be hard to find. Does that mean this boy, Carlos, is the new dragon master? Rory asked. Griffith nodded. Yes. The dragon stone has chosen him just in time. Drake stared at the boy in the pictures. He looked happy and peaceful. It reminded Drake of the day he had learned that he was a dragon master. He had been picking onions in his field when the king's guard had carried him away. Carlos has no idea that we are about to come find him, Drake thought. No idea that his life is about to change forever. 4. 3 plans. We must split up, said Griffith. Anna and Bo, you will try to catch up to the lightning dragon. Rory and Petra, you will stay with me to research lightning dragons. And Diego, you should take Drake and Worm with you to fetch Carlos. Good thinking, said Diego. A friendly boy like Drake could help put Carlos at ease. Griffith pulled a chain from a box. A small piece of the dragon stone dangled from it. He handed it to Drake. Give this to Carlos when you see him, Griffith said. Drake looked at the stone. Holding on to it was an important job. I won't lose it, he promised, tucking it into his pocket. Now let's head to the dragon caves, said Griffith. He hurried out of the workshop, and the others followed. Griffith talked quickly as he walked. Bo and Anna, you must keep track of the lightning dragon. When Drake and Diego find Carlos, they will find you. Then you can all try to bring the dragon here, he said. Bo nodded. She will put out any fires that the lightning dragon starts. And Capri is very fast, said Anna. She'll keep up with the baby Dr. Vulcan is faster, Rory interrupted. She ran to the cave of her big, red fire dragon. Why can't we chase after the lightning dragon? Because you and Vulcan still need supervision, Griffith said. Rory's cheeks turned red. She stroked Vulcan's nose through the bars of the cave. We don't need anyone watching over us. Do we, Vulcan? She said. We're fine on our own. That is dangerous thinking, Rory, said Griffith. Drake wanted to ask why that was dangerous, but he was busy getting Worm. The brown dragon slid out of the cave. Worm had a long body, like a great big worm, and tiny wings. Griffith turned to Bo and Anna. Please saddle your dragons. Then bring them outside to the valley. I will meet you there shortly. Bo ran to Shu, his blue water dragon. Anna raced to Kepri, her sun dragon. The white dragon greeted Anna by shooting a beam of sunlight from her mouth. The two dragon masters started putting saddles on their dragons. Diego walked up to Worm's cave. Are we ready, Drake? He asked. Drake's dragon stone started to glow. Worm, can you take us to Diego's land? Drake asked in his mind. He heard Worm's reply inside his head. Yes. We're ready, Drake said. He turned to his friends. Goodbye, everybody, and good luck. Then he and Diego both touched the earth dragon. Worm started to glow with green light. The light flashed. Whoosh! Drake, Worm, and Diego were gone. 5. Diego's magical cottage. Drake blinked his eyes. He was not inside King Roland's castle anymore. He was standing on top of a hill with Diego and Worm. The bottom of the hill sloped down to a beach of white sand. Beyond that, Drake saw blue water that stretched from the shore to the sky. His eyes got wide. Is that really the ocean? Yes. Your first time, is it? Diego asked. Take a deep breath. Smell the air. There's nothing like it. Drake did as he was told. The air smelled like salt and wind. It smells clean, Drake said. It's good for the lungs. Diego said. Come, let's get you settled. Then he turned and shuffled up the hill. Drake and Worm followed the wizard to a large cottage. It was made of bricks and wood, and had a mostly straw roof. This cottage wasn't like any Drake had ever seen. It wasn't one square room. This one was a rectangle, with another rectangle stuck to it. And another. And another. This cottage is shaped like a big letter S, Drake thought. Diego seemed to read his mind. I had to add rooms onto my cottage. Too many books and potions, he said. Then Diego looked at Worm. Stay here while we get your room ready. Worm nodded, and Drake followed Diego through the front door. The first room had a big fireplace. There were a few pieces of furniture around the room. Drake noticed a gazing ball on top of one table. Strings were draped around the room, on every wall. What are those white stones dangling from the strings? Drake asked. They're called seashells, Diego explained. Tiny ocean animals used to live in them. Drake stared at the shells. He couldn't imagine what kind of creature would use one for a home. Diego picked up a basket of mushrooms. Then he nodded to a bucket on the floor. Let's go to the well and get some water for Worm. They filled the bucket and brought the water and the mushrooms to Worm. Worm gobbled them down. I'll make us some lunch, too, Diego said. Shouldn't we be looking for Carlos? Drake asked. Ah, yes, said Diego. You see, the coast is very big. It would take too long for us to search every village. But luckily, we have help. Diego walked over to a window. He opened the shutters and whistled. Drake watched, curious, as a bird flew up to the window. The bird had a white body and a black head. Drake had never seen a bird like it. It's a gull, Diego said. I call him Bob, Diego whispered to the bird. It squawked, and then flew away. Drake's eyes were wide. You can talk to birds? Diego nodded. They're not all as smart as Bob, though. He will find Carlos for us. Diego put bread and cheese on the table. Then he waved his hand over the gazing ball. Let's see if we can spy on Bo and Anna, Diego said. Drake and Diego looked into the ball. An image appeared of Bo and Anna riding Capri and Shoe. They were flying across the sky when suddenly, a yellow creature flew in front of them. They've found the baby dragon, Drake cried. 6. The chase is on. Drake and Diego watched the action inside the gazing ball. The lightning dragon flew over a small village. The villagers looked up and pointed, their mouths open in surprise. Anna and Capri flew in front of the baby dragon. Bo and Shoe flew behind him. The lightning dragon flapped his wings. More sparks flew out. They rained onto the ground. Anna was trying to talk to the baby dragon, but Drake couldn't hear what she was saying. Then Shoe sprayed water droplets into the air above the dragon. Capri aimed a beam of sunlight at the water. A beautiful rainbow appeared. The baby dragon saw it. A calm look came across his face. The dragon doesn't seem so scared now, Drake remarked. The rainbow is helping. Maybe Anna can convince him to follow her, Diego said. But that will be hard to do without Carlos. Anna tried talking to the dragon again. But then the rainbow faded. The lightning dragon flapped his wings. More sparks shot out. These sparks landed onto the straw roof of a cottage. The straw burst into flame. The flame shot up and almost hit Anna and Capri. No! Drake yelled. Capri dodged out of the way just in time. The baby dragon flew away. Shoe quickly put out the flames. Then Bo and Anna raced after the speeding dragon. The gazing ball went dark. 7. The rattling shells. How will Bo and Anna ever catch that dragon? Drake asked. Diego nodded. I am afraid that only his dragon master will be able to calm him. I hope Bob finds Carlos soon. Isn't there anything else we can do? Drake asked. Diego shook his head. We must wait. Bob has never failed me. Drake frowned. It felt wrong to be sitting around when Bo and Anna were flying after a dragon that shot sparks. Come, Diego said. Let's eat and then get Worm's room ready for tonight. Diego led Drake through the twisting cottage. Drake saw that strings of seashells hung on every wall. They passed a room full of plants. Another room held jars and bottles filled with colorful liquids. Another room was full of books. They finally came to the last room, which looked almost like a stable. There was hay on the floor. 2 big doors opened up to the outside. This room had strings of seashells on the walls, too. I built this room in case any of Griffith's dragons came to visit me, Diego explained. Worm is my first guest. Diego and Drake swept out the stable. When they finished, they opened the doors. Worm slid inside and curled up in the hay, smiling. Drake turned to Diego. What were those other rooms we passed through? Ah, I shall give you a tour, he said. Follow me. Diego led Drake back through the cottage. In the first room, the wizard showed Drake books about baby dragons. In the second room, Diego mixed a red potion and a blue potion together in a glass. There was a puff of smoke and a purple stone shaped like an onion appeared. A reminder of home, Diego said, giving it to Drake. Thanks, said Drake. In the third room, Diego handed Drake a dried green plant. This one is good for keeping away bad energy, he said. It's also very tasty